What's up guys, another video here. So today I want to talk about how the 401k is not for early retirees. Number one is that the main premise of the 401k is that you will work at your corporate job until age 59 and a half. So I'm sure a lot of you guys don't particularly enjoy your work or your career, and this will actually incentivize you to work until age 59 and a half for the 401k if you're relying on the 401k as your primary retirement fund. So again, it's not the best to rely on this if you intend to retire early. So number two is you'll be hit with a 10% excise penalty if you choose to withdraw your funds before the age of 59 and a half. So the issue is if you don't roll over your funds after you leave your job, I'm saying your 401k to an IRA, then you'll be hit with a 10% excise penalty on top of whatever tax you owe on the distribution. So it's really disadvantageous for you to do this because of the massive tax consequences. So if you do choose to roll over your funds, the 401k into an IRA, it's going to be hit with a G distribution code on your 1099. So you want to make sure that you have this code on your 1099 so you don't get taxed on the distribution. So again, that's a huge disadvantage, that you get hit with all of the penalty and the tax if you do withdraw it before age 59 and a half. So when you do take distributions, it'll count towards your taxable income, which at the time will be zero if you are retired, under the premise that you don't have any W-2 income. So let me explain. So when someone retires, obviously they're going to have no more W-2 income, and they'll be taking their distribution as cash piecemeal throughout the years. So the tax bracket will change over time, but generally if you are having some kind of taxable amount of 30 to 40,000, it's not going to be taxed as highly when you go in the higher income ranges where the marginal tax rate is much higher. So that's why when people retire, they have no income and they are taking piecemeal small amounts from the 401k so they don't have as much tax implication. And keep in mind, this is going to be after age 59 and a half, so they don't incur the 10% excise penalty. So this is all assuming that you'll be suffering through your job through age 59 and a half, maybe a job that you hate, and you'll be relying on this 401k for your retirement income. So again, it's kind of a dangerous premise if you're trying to retire early. So number four is there are far better investment options in your brokerage account that will easily outperform any mutual fund in your 401k. So that's the issue. For 401ks, you can't necessarily invest in individual stocks. So for example, most of my portfolio was individual tech stocks, and those exploded very quickly. But again, it does offer some protection for people who don't know what they're doing to invest in some kind of diversified mutual fund. So I do understand that point, but it's not really conducive to someone who's trying to retire early. So if you're trying to retire early, you need to take a really active role in your investments and your mindfulness. However, if you're someone that doesn't mind working at a job until age 59 and a half and you don't want to go through the active management of your investments, then 401k is perfectly fine for you. So you'll be working until age 59 and a half at minimum, and you'll have your investments on autopilot, and you'll just be dollar cost averaging through time, and you'll be maximizing your 401k deferrals, and you're going to get your match. This is the next point I'm talking about. So number five is, of course, if you defer into a retirement plan, you're going to have the benefit of a lower taxable income and match if it is offered. So my personal advice is to invest into a 401k or defer up to the point where the employer matches. So let me give you an example. Let's say the employer offers you 100% of the first 3% that you put in. You should probably put up to 3% because you're going to get an automatic 100% return on the amount you defer into the plan. So I do suggest that, but I don't really suggest doing beyond that point because you can get better yields, a better capital appreciation through individual stocks. But again, I understand it's not for the risk averse, and if you want to have hands off on your investments and you don't mind working until a very old age, then 401k is perfectly fine for you. And keep in mind that the employer match may be subject to a vesting schedule, and the vesting schedule can last up to a maximum of 6 years, so they may require you to stay for the full 6 years to get 100% of the match. So just to recap here, the main premise of the 401k is that you will work at your corporate job until age 59 and a half, which is very old. You'll be hit with a 10% excise penalty if you withdraw your funds before age 59 and a half. When you do take distributions, it'll count toward your taxable income, which at the time will be zero, assuming you're retired at age 59 and a half, and that's how people avoid the higher tax rates on their income because they are taking no W-2 income. Number 4 is there will be far better investment options in a brokerage account that will easily outperform any mutual fund in your 401k. And keep in mind, this doesn't really apply to when you roll your 401k over to an IRA, because for the IRA you will have some flexibility in your investment options. So again, if you amass a large amount of your 401k and you roll it over to an IRA, that could be advantageous as well. But keep in mind the massive tax implications if you do withdraw before age 59 and a half. And lastly, you'll have the advantage of a lower taxable income and to participate into your 401k plan if your plan does offer a match, but keep in mind that match may be subject to a vesting schedule. So hopefully that was helpful. Thanks, and stay tuned for the next video.